It's continuing coverage of Ball State men's basketball on Ball State All Access and BallStateSports.com as we welcome back to Muncie Ball State's newest assistant men's basketball coach, Ben Botts. Welcome home.
Thanks. I'm excited to be back and excited to get going.
Why home? Why Muncie? I know you're obviously from here. You went to Muncie Central, but what lured you back to this university and to work for Coach Whitford?
Well, I think you said it right there. I think it's a phenomenal opportunity to work for Coach Whitford, well respected in our business, and an opportunity I really wanted to get back. Obviously in town, I know the team's in great spot to make a run next year as well.
I know you weren't working exactly that far away, but how much do you have tabs? And you played Ball State while you were coaching at Fort Wayne as well. But what's your tab like on a university like this while you're up at Fort Wayne, and just kind of knowing what else is going on around you and thinking to yourself, gosh, if there was ever an opening there, it's a place I'd like to go?
Sure. Been really familiar with the team over the last few years. We've scrimmaged every year. Obviously met in a postseason tournament a few years ago. And just, recruiting this area, recruiting the Midwest, I've always been very impressed with the personnel, the players, student athletes on this team. So it's exciting to get a chance to coach these guys.
Wow, what stood out? What made you say, dang, they're doing it right?
Well, I think you could just chart Coach Whitford's growth with the program. Took it over about 5 years ago, and it's gotten better every year, it seems like. And, just knowing the players and now getting to know them over the last 3-4 weeks, it's been awesome, and I'm excited about it.
What have you learned since you've come into the fold over the last couple of weeks? What's it been like as far as a learning curve in terms of the system and the players? And I guess how have your eyes been opened even more than what you already knew?
Well, I think it's always exciting getting to know new people, and to a man, all these guys have been great, welcoming. You can tell that Coach Whitford's recruited great student athletes, great individuals. So I'm just, I've said it a couple times already, but I'm very excited about it.
Best shooter on the staff now. Jason Grunkemeyer had a pretty good stroke at Miami. Is it you now?
I think you just keep it with Coach Grunk. I think he has a great stroke. Saw him today in workouts, and I'm not going to rival that right now. Maybe sometime we can get in the gym together, but I'll give the nod to him.
Ever modest. Let's talk about your basketball career, though. You played at Fort Wayne, obviously, before you coached there. But before that, a star at Muncie Central and a Little Cardinal. So that was your first foray into Worthen Arena. What do you remember most about Worthen as a kid and growing up with Ball State basketball around you?
Yeah, Ball State's always had a special place in my family and my heart. Both parents graduated from here. We were season ticket holders back, 15, 20 years ago. And obviously you mentioned Little Cardinals. Performed as a Little Cardinal when Bonzie Wells broke the scoring record. Was a ball boy the night the Cardinals beat Ole Miss here in the CVC Classic a long time ago. So, there's a lot of special memories here in Muncie and in Worthen. So, it's a special opportunity for me.
So you get a little bit older, you do take the hike up 69 and go to Fort Wayne, play for Dane Fife. What's it like? He was obviously a very young head coach. You're obviously now a very young assistant coach.
Sure.
What do you learn from a guy like that, even just by osmosis, in terms of seeing how he handled his business and how that translates to what you can do now?
Well, I think, and Coach Fife's been a great mentor for me, dating back to the recruiting process and now, 10 years into our relationship. And I think you can just tell that he lives and breathes it. He puts everything he has into it, and that's been impressed upon me. I think he always got the most out of us athletically and mentally, and that's kind of what I've tried to take from him, probably more than anything.
Coaching is a small industry, though, and your first job out of college was working for Chris Mack as a graduate assistant. And Chris Mack obviously comes from the same tree as Coach Whitford. So while you're learning new things coming into a new team and a new organization, so to speak, is some of it familiar to you just in terms of how guys think similarly?
I think so. I think a lot of the terminology and maybe the day-to-day structure of the program has some similarities, being in the same tree. Both Coach Whitford and Coach Mack were assistants under Sean Miller at a time, and I'm sure they bounce ideas and different things off each other all the time. So that's been a little bit easier because I had 2 years there at Xavier. So I think that'll help the transition as well.
Do you feel settled? Do you feel like you're hitting the ground and ready to go here, or are you still drinking out of a fire hose?
Well, yeah, probably both. The people here have been awesome. Have got me feet on the ground and got me running pretty easily. It's more just getting in here, moving in, getting a house, getting my wife here, and then I'll feel really back at home.